to you the show teeming with tall tales and tantalising truths. On David Mitchell's team tonight, a comedian who once starred in a programme to find the world's most dangerous road. Turns out it's the one between Snappy Snaps and George Michael's house. It's Rod Gilbert! And a comedy actress currently on our screens in Miranda, who also co-created Smack the Pony, a sketch show that received critical acclaim, Emmy Awards and a stern letter from the RSPCA. It's Sally Phillips. And on Lee Mack's team tonight, a showbiz legend whose TV show once drew an audience of 15 million people. Admittedly, there were only 2 channels and no remote control. Des O'Connor! And a lady who co-stars with Bruce Forsyth on Strictly Come Dancing, but she's here tonight in her own right, so there'll be no more mention of Brucey. It's nice to see her nice, Tess Daly! So to round 1, Home Truths, where our panellists each read out a statement from the card in front of them. To make things harder, they've never seen the card before, so they've no idea what they'll be faced with, and it's up to the opposing team to sort the fact from the fiction. Des, you're first up tonight.
For 3 days running, I accidentally ate cat food for dinner.
David's team.
Right. So, how did this happen?
It was an accident.
Yes. But it happened for 3 days, so we're looking at 9 meals.
Now, I didn't eat every meal, but I ate on one of the meals, one at lunchtime, one a snack, and one at dinner, but not necessarily in that order.
And I'm assuming you thought the cat food was something else?
Why would you assume that?
Well, because otherwise, Des, is not an accident.
Was it wet or dry cat food?
I'm not a cat, I don't know.
No, but as a highly evolved mammal, you do know the difference between wet and dry.
It depends what we're talking about.
Des, have you got a cat?
No.
There's a chink in this, isn't it? There's a little chink in this.
I would point out that this didn't happen at home, obviously.
Oh, I see.
Right. Where did it happen?
Abroad.
Oh.
I was abroad in a foreign country.
Which foreign country, Des?
Which foreign country? I didn't see their flag, but I was...
How did you eventually find out that it was cat food?
I'd rented a place. It was in Spain, right? I'd rented a villa, and I had to go and do my own shopping. And I was walking around and I saw these tins with a little fish on the side, and I thought, well, that'll do. I don't speak Spanish, not that well, anyway. And I brought it back, and I was opening it, and the lady who was doing the house went, no, meow, 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 meow.
What did you think it was, Des?
I thought it was a kind of fish.
Like a tuna, perhaps?
Yes.
I'm surprised there wasn't a picture of a cat on...
Why would there be a picture of cat?
They always have a picture of a cat.
You don't get a picture of a human on a pot noodle, do you?
You always have a picture of a cat on cat food. Always. Even in Spain.
Not always.
Always.
I can give you an example when there wasn't.
What?
Des, tell him again.
Right, David, what are you going to say? What's your guess here? Is he telling the truth?
Sammy?
Well, I'm beginning to think it's true, I must say. I'm sorry, Des.
I'm coming round to it.
OK, so David...
Yeah, I think it's true.
So, Des, are you telling the truth or telling a lie?
Well, they all think it's the truth, but it's the truth.
Yes, it's true. Des did accidentally eat cat food for dinner for 3 days running. It was his cleaner who first noticed something was wrong, namely that Des was licking himself clean in front of the fire and going to the toilet in a tray. Rod Gilbert, you're next.
I cannot go on airport travellators. The one and only time I did, I got so freaked out by how superhumanly fast I was walking, I had to be taken to the sick bay to calm down.
Lee, what do you think?
Right, I mean, just how fast would you say you were going?
Superhuman was the word I used.
OK. How fast would you define superhuman? Because I've got my own definition.
Have you? Well, what's yours?
I asked you first.
Let's just say it went very fast. I didn't like it.
So you're saying that you were on it, you had to be escorted off, taken to the sick bay?
I wasn't escorted off. I got off the end and then I sought assistance.
You felt nauseous. Did you fall
That's
off?
right, I felt nauseous.
What's the difference between nauseous and nauseous? David, what's the difference between
Excuse me,
nauseous
you
and
could have asked me. Excuse me.
I'm
A human being!
I'm imagining you'll refer me to David. David, what's the difference between nausea... Is it simply
I
pronunciation?
think it's simply pronunciation, Rob.
Oh,
yes.
OK. Thank you, David. As you were.
Shall I tell you another thing I don't like? It freaks me out when escalators don't work. You know, when you go up an escalator and you get up and you're exhausted and your legs are burning and you walk and they don't work, it's more tiring than the stairs, yet when you get to the top, you still fly off the end like that. That freaks me out. I don't like that feeling of lack of control. The escalator doesn't work, and yet you still fly off the top. Why is that?
I don't think you do fly off the top. I think that's
No, you
just-
do fly off the
it's your
top, David.
brain telling you a
No,
lie.
my brain doesn't tell me anything. It honestly, it does happen.
Rob's brain does not tell him anything.
No.
Is that it, so, yeah?
What do you mean? It's not my brain telling
So
me I'm
you're
flying off
saying
the
that
end.
we're on at the top of a stationary escalator, you in
Yes.
some way are thrown
Yes.
off the end of it
Yes.
as if it were...
As I described.
That's nothing to do with the electrical motor in the escalator that isn't turned on.
I'm not saying it is.
That's because you're using a certain amount of extra energy in order to go up some stairs,
Yes.
and then suddenly it seems
That-
easy to go on the... Well, you'll find that at the top of a normal flight of stairs.
No, you won't.
Yes, you will.
Nobody flies off the top of
you'll
a
have-
normal stairs. Hang on a minute. Let's have a go, shall we? Let's give it a little go. Oh, you're right, David. Oh, you're right. You're quite right. What are you on about?
What I'm going to tell you now, Rod, you may not be ready to hear. But the feeling of getting to the top of a normal flight of stairs
Is not the same.
and the feeling of getting to the top of an
Rubbish.
escalator that
Rubbish.
is not turned on
Rubbish.
is
Rubbish.
the same.
It's not.
It is the same.
It's not.
It is the
It's
same.
not.
This is madness.
It's not. What you're saying? You started off saying it's
I'm
my...
not going to discuss it anymore. I've told you the information. At some point, you will accept it.
Yes.
Rod, you're on this travelator, OK?
I was, yeah,
And
was.
you didn't like the fact that you were going so fast. Is
No,
that, would that be a fair assessment?
Well, that's exactly what I said, so yes.
Yes. Why didn't you stop walking so you weren't going as fast?
I just don't like the way they kind of bump.
Tell you what,
They kind of shift along. I just don't like that.
Oh, it's the
feeling.
up and down motion.
Well, there's a
Why
little
didn't you-
cushion padding in it, yes.
You could have walked backwards and then you'd been standing still.
Yes, I know, but I
If
had
you
a...
judge the speed right.
All right, but I had a plane to catch, David.
So what do you think, Lee?
Tess, what do you think?
Well, I'm trying to read his body language, because I'm a woman and we do intuition very well. He's very laid back. He seems very committed. I
Very
think
committed,
he might
very
be telling the
confident,
truth.
very laid back.
Yes.
What about you,
I
Des?
just think he's telling the truth.
I think he is. I mean,
Thank you, Des.
I think he might be telling the truth.
You're saying true?
Am I?
True.
True. True. Rod, truth or lie?
It is a lie.
Yes, it's a lie. Of course, Rod can use airport travelators. Our next round is called This Is My, where we bring on a mystery guest who has a close connection to one of our panellists. This week, each of David's team will claim it's them that has the genuine connection to the guest, and it's up to Lee's team to spot who's telling the truth. So please welcome this week's special guest, Tony. Welcome, Tony. Rod, what is Tony to you?
This is Tony, and for 5 years he was my badminton doubles partner.
Right. Sally, what is your relationship with Tony?
This is my uncle Tony, and last year I asked to have a go on his mobility scooter, and I drove it into a pond and wrote it off.
Right. Finally, David, how do you know Tony?
This is Tony, and when I was little, he used to help me get to sleep by telling me bedtime stories about the war.
Isn't that lovely? There we are. So, Rod's badminton buddy, Sally's scooterless uncle, or David's bedtime storyteller. Lee, before you start asking, I'm going to bring a chair on for you, and you can have a lovely sit down there. There we are. You relax there. Lee.
Sally, does he use the mobility scooter a lot?
Quite a lot. He's had 2 hip replacements.
So he can get by without the fact that he walked on
Yes.
fine tonight.
Yeah,
is...
sure.
Can get by.
I don't think they're just for old people. You know, I've got a bath with a door. I think it's nice.
That was more a DIY mishap, though, wasn't it?
No, I think it's nice. Just open the door, step in, wait for 19 or 20 minutes while it slowly fills up in the freezing cold. I think it's lovely.
Why did you take the mobility scooter in the first place?
Because I was going to play a psychopath in a film, or a psychopath on a mobility scooter. And I said, can I have a go? Because I can't drive a car.
Sally, how far did you drive before you went into the pond? What was the distance?
I didn't know I had it in reverse.
So you were very close to the pond.
So I wasn't far from the pond, but it was facing that way.
Right.
And I took it out of park the wrong way and went backwards.
And was
into
your
the
uncle
pond.
with you at the time?
Yes.
How much instruction did Tony give you before you got on the mobility scooter?
Well, that he thought, as he said afterwards over tea, many, many times, that it was quite self-evident how one drove this thing. He said all it had was it's got a little, gear tiller, and he thought that even a nincompoop.
Backwards or forwards, that's about
Did you
it.
say gear tiller?
Yes, well.
That's a nautical expression.
Yes.
But you obviously felt, on some subconscious level, more comfortable at sea.
Did you buy your Uncle Tony another mobility
I did.
scooter?
How much was that mobility scooter?
Yes, how much was that mobility scooter?
It was £1,500.
For a brand new mobility
For a
scooter?
brand new one?
Yes, because it...
Hang
yes,
on, is that right, Des? Should we move on to Rob?
How long ago were they that you were playing badminton as doubles?
That we were doubles partners.
Yes. How many years
10,
ago?
15 years.
You were... and when did this end? When did this end?
We had to stop because I was getting on a bit.
And how did your partnership begin?
Well, we played for the same club.
What was the club called?
It was in West London.
West London, go on.
Yeah,
You can't remember the name of the club?
It was called Old Actonians.
Old Actonians Badminton Club.
Well, yes.
Did you wear the full gear, shorts, and, looking...
No, I wore a miner's helmet and he wore a frogman's outfit. Of course we did, Des.
Did you ever win anything yourself and Tony?
We won a lot, yeah.
And why did you come about playing together then? Why didn't you go for someone, no disrespect to Tony, why didn't you go for someone a bit
Because
more...
we complimented each other's game.
When you say you complimented each other's game, you went, you're good, so are you. Come on.
Out of you two badminton players, Rod, who would you say was the better?
Tony was a much, much better player than me. Tony played for England.
This started out, we were just knocking around in a West London club. Now, he is the Rafael Nadal of badminton.
Why, if he played for England,
Yeah.
and he was so good,
Yeah.
why is he choosing you to partner him?
I think it would be fair, and Tony wouldn't mind me saying that when I played with him, he'd have been probably I think he was in his early 70s.
Whoa, when you were playing with him?
When I was playing with him, yeah.
OK. The prime age for badminton. particularly international level. OK, David, what's your connection with Tony? What's your
He lived next door when I was little.
And he read your bedtime stories?
He would occasionally babysit for me and my brother, and
It's feasible.
Made up, or was it... This was just his stories from the war?
not out of a book, but ostensibly true.
Did he ever just shout
think-
them through
yes,
the
I
wall?
think-
Surrounded by Germans, and so, basically, I'm trying to get to sleep. I don't care!
How old were you?
I think I would have been...
23.
I think it's around the time I was sort of 5, 6, 7, that sort
It
of...
could happen. I had another neighbour who would sing me nursery rhymes and bounce me on the knee. And
Am I the only one who had parents? What's going on here?
I think perhaps what it was, Lee, with you, is that your parents found it very hard to find any other adult who was willing to take sole responsibility for you. Now, let me ask you this. Would Tony ever come round not for babysitting, but just to tell you some of these stories? Or would it only happen when he was babysitting?
I think it started when he was babysitting, but he'd come round quite a bit anyway with my parents.
David, you just did an upwards inflection. I've never heard you do that before. That's so not like you. Right. Sometimes he would come round anyway. What's happened to you?
I'm on national television. I'm getting a bit defensive about talking about my abuse-ridden childhood. That's all.
Of all the war stories that he told you that helped you go to sleep, what would you say was your favourite?
Well, I think the thing that I found most interesting was the story Tony told about his mother, who during the war worked in the library in Oxford.
This is the interesting one.
What she had to do was they had to compile and analyse and place photographs of the Japanese coastline.
I'll tell you what, it's getting better. Carry on.
In preparation for an invasion of Japan.
And you said, thank you, as a 5-year-old. That's very interesting.
No, because by the end of the story, I was asleep.
It's time for an answer, Lee. So, is Tony...
I'm still trying to get the idea in my head of just passing David's door and hearing a man inside play. I mean, obviously, with the coastal line of Tokyo, it's very hard to determine whether we should have a land invasion or by... oh, you're asleep. Oh, OK.
My job is done.
Night. Sleep tight. Don't let the Japanese invade.
I think, Rod, we can discount. There were too many flaws.
I agree with you. I think it's one of the other two. And I've got a horrible feeling that it's David in the middle there.
I know which one David is.
All right, what about the mobility scooter with Sally?
Have you ever taken your driving test?
No, I've never even taken it.
Never learned to drive.
You can't emphasise the word even if it's the same thing. Have you ever taken your driving test? I've not even taken it.
So Lee's team, is Tony Rod's badminton buddy, Sally's scooterless uncle, or David's bedtime storyteller? What are you going to say?
It's not Rod.
It is. That's what you're going for.
Sally.
Sally.
I think David.
And in a weird way, I've now gone back to Rod.
Thank you.
You can see it in his little Welsh eyes. But you're wrong. In his little devious Welsh eyes. And trust me, if there's one thing I know about working on this show, it's a little devious Welsh eyes. Rod or Sally?
Or Sally?
It's Sally.
Sally?
Yeah, it's Sally.
It's Sally.
Sally, right. Tony, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Tony, and Rod was my badminton partner for 5 years.
Yes, Tony was Rod's badminton doubles partner. Tony, thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
Which brings us to our final round, Quickfire Lies, in which our panellists lie not only through their teeth, but also against the clock. And we start with... It's Lee.
Oh. Possession.
Right, well, in that case, step this way and take the card, read the card to us, and then when you've done that, you can reveal your possession.
In Thailand, I paid £200 to have my portrait painted by a monkey. This is that portrait.
All right.
Can I give you that?
David, what do you think?
There you go.
Treasure it.
What colour shirt were you wearing?
You probably want to ask less what colour shirt I was wearing, what colours were available to the monkey at the time.
You don't particularly remember it being green.
No, and I don't
Were you
remember having
eating-
4 green ears either.
And what colours were available to the monkey? Blue, red, green, and its own excrement.
That's my face!
Can I just say, I was recently at a zoo where I was painting with chimps. In the North Wales, in the Colwyn Bay Mountain Zoo in Wales, and I tried to get them to paint stuff, and there's no way that they would have done that well.
I'm not being racist, but that's your Welsh chimp. That's all I'm saying.
How big was the chimp?
Well, let me remember now. He was sort of like this. I'd say it was about that big sat down.
Yeah.
So that plus a couple of chimps' legs.
I honestly don't think that a monkey... There's a sort of mouth on that, and his eyes, there's two blue blobs for eyes. Monkeys can't do that.
You think it's too good, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the resemblance is too strong. You've even got your little squinty cockeyed eyes.
Don't push your luck. Things I have to put up with on the show. You're wondering why it's like this, OK?
No, it's him today. I'm not wondering why.
It could have been better, but he was a surrealist.
David, what are you going to say? Is this monkey story true?
I think it's a lie. I think it's an absolutely pointless act to get a monkey to paint a picture of you, and I think Lee would also have thought that.
I think Rod thinks it's a lie. We know that. Sally?
He looks like a hard man.
Okay.
We wouldn't be easily...
So, David, you're saying
by
lie?
us.
I think
It's a lie.
we all think it's a lie,
OK.
yeah.
Lee?
I'm sorry, but it feels weird being up and not being able to press something. Do you mind?
Not at all.
It is, in fact, a lie.
Yes, what a surprise. It was a lie. Lee
It's
didn't...
a lie. How am I supposed to sell that as a truth? Do you know what? I'm glad it's not mine. How am I supposed to have a chance?
My 4-year-old son is watching. Thanks for doing it, and I'll fix it, and I'll bring it home.
And tell him I want me 200 quid back on that monkey suit.
Yes, it was, of course, a lie. Lee didn't pay £200 to have his portrait painted by a monkey in Thailand. I mean, why would a dumb, hairy beast who spends all day throwing his feces at the wall and scratching his bottom want a portrait from a monkey? And next, it's Sally. Out loud, Sally.
Because he swims in our local pool, my husband and I play a game over text called I've Just Been in the Water with Trevor McDonald. I'm currently beating him 3-2.
Well, I mean, it sounds plausible.
Did I have a couple of little blackouts in that sense?
I suppose there might be some people watching who aren't aware of who Sir Trevor McDonald is. He's the esteemed newsreader and journalist, just in case. So there could be some young, people who don't know who he is.
So if you go swimming and Trevor McDonald's in there, you get a point. That's the rules, right?
Yeah,
Do you live near him?
I do live near him.
Do you ever talk to Trevor McDonald?
Not really. I sort of made eye contact with him when we were both buying fireworks once.
You didn't bother playing the game, I've made eye contact with Trevor McDonald and fireworks, so I didn't catch on.
No, because it's important that he's in the water.
Sally, who saw him first?
My husband saw him first, because I'm quite short-sighted, as you can see.
And was
and
he
I don't-
swimming? Was he swimming?
Yes, he was swimming. And...
And what?
He wears nose clips.
Is he? Are you concerned that he's going to watch this programme and this is now going to be awkward?
It's going to be out. I am a bit concerned. I tell you, the person who'll be really gutted is my dad, who says hello to him in the supermarket. So...
He's got his own game going on with your mum, I
my
think.
dad's name-dropping Trevor McDonald said hello to, by the onions, and so we started going on better and saying
You live
hello
in a
to
very
Trevor
small
McDonald.
little village, don't you?
You know this is true, don't you?
Yes, of course. Because we live quite near
Nearby.
each other in show business land.
Yes.
There's a swimming pool, a fireworks shop, and a supermarket.
It's a lovely place.
Is he a serious swimmer doing laps? He's in
Goes
there having a
up and
serious...
down. Yeah, goes up and
What do
down.
you mean on the spot?
Up and down would signify sinking and desperately trying to... You mean
No,
back
because
and
he does
forth?
lengths. He goes...
Lengths.
What's his stroke?
You don't
He
want to hear about
alternates
this.
He alternates between what?
between breaststroke and front crawl.
Which do you prefer?
Which way? I'm afraid I have to do breaststroke.
You're a breaststroker.
I can't get
Well, you've got to
the
keep your
end.
head above the water, haven't you, to look out for newsreaders?
So what do you think, then, Lee? What do you think? Is Sally telling the truth?
I think you're making it up. I think it's a fib.
What do you think?
I think it's true.
You think it's true?
Yeah, I think it's true.
Oh, I'll go for true.
You're saying true?
Yes.
OK. Sally Phillips, truth or lie?
It is a lie.
Yes, it's a lie. Sally and her husband don't play a game over the text called I've Just Been in the Water with Trevor McDonald. Next. It's David.
On a wall in my flat, there is a mysterious red switch. I have no idea what it does because I have never pressed it and refuse to do so.
Right, mysterious red switches. Lee.
Where's the switch?
It's on the wall. Sort of not directly, but slightly behind the television.
Haven't you just had to be tempted to touch it? See what it does?
It's not that distracting. It's, you know, it's bright red. I'd say it's about maybe 3/4 of an inch or an inch wide.
And it's like one of those cooker switches, doesn't it?
It's a bit like that sort of switch. It's sort of cocked up in a sort of inviting way that you might want to give a tweak
so
to.
it's in an upward position. You'd have to flick it down.
Exactly.
Oh, that's always more scary, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is your house...
If it were down, I'd assume that whatever it does was happening.
Right, and
I'd be afraid to turn it off.
That would be
because
awful.
I might need it. You know, it might turn the oxygen off.
You've never gone near it? You've never touched it?
Gone near it?
But you've never been
I've gone very near it. I don't live in a very large flat. I can't cordon off a whole area of the living room just because of the proximity of a mysterious switch. I need that space.
How long have you been in your flat and ignored this switch?
Well, I've moved into the flat about 11 years ago.
That's a long time to ignore
You
a
would
switch.
not-
But sometimes I do other things. It's not just been solidly ignoring the switch 24 hours a day.
How is your granddad's dialysis machine going at the moment?
So, Lee, what are you going to say? This mysterious switch, is it true?
I started believing it because I thought, yeah, you do have those switches in your house and you don't know what they're for. I've got them.
But you'd have to flick the switch, wouldn't you?
Oh, I'd have to flick
the switch.
I would be flicking that switch.
You can't not fiddle, can you? It's there, you've got to play with it.
Yes, well, you know...
I remember seeing an episode of this show when David talked about his bedroom door, didn't have a door handle on it. He had to claw his door open every single time he opened his bedroom door.
Yeah.
So therefore, he's not going to bother about a switch.
No, he lives in a slum,
He's going to
doesn't he?
leave the... Yeah, basically, yes, he does.
He lives in a slum.
So I say it's true.
If they paid proper repeat fees on Dave, it would be different.
So, Lee, what are you going to say? Truth or lie?
Des.
He's telling a lie.
You think he's telling a lie?
Yes.
Why?
Well, I don't think he can ignore that. Look at that intelligent face. Look at that beard now. He does look like a professor.
He hasn't got a bedroom door handle, Des.
How do you know?
How do you
Because
know?
I've watched...
So, truth or lie?
I think I will go with Tess and say it's true.
You're saying it's true. David, truth or lie?
It is true.
Yes, it's true. David does have a mysterious red switch on the wall of his flat which he's never pressed. Oh, and that sound signals time is up, and it's the end of the show, and I can reveal that David's team have won by 5 points to 1. But it's not just a team game, and my individual liar of the week this week is Sally Phillips. Yes, Sally Phillips, who's given us more barefaced cheek than a leapfrog competition at a nudist colony. Good night.
Love him or loathe him, Jeremy Clarkson joins Ian and Paul to guest host Have I Got News For You in just a moment. Then the race is on for Lee Mack to prove he's telling the truth again. And this time, it's not going out. It's 9:30.